him play on the stage right now.
Yeah, true story that Jambo is actually if Jimbo was a sandwich as well. So
it is. Yeah, he is the alumni of EU, right? Yeah. Just change a few letters to one of the top players. But here is his chance, of course, to show off. We're actually kicking things off with Jambo on Truth CTF. You're on board with Radiant Esports off the break, and looks like not too many players shooting right away, so he's going to go ahead and head up top middle to offer some angles, but he's also met up there by Depleted, who had the same exact idea. Now trying to also close down some kills here, some early kills being exchanged, and that's the first few kills going the way of SplyceyMemes.
Always a risky decision just jumping top mid straight away. Now I'm really excited to see how Radical performs in this game. The analyst touched upon it. He came from South African Halo, a massive player in South Africa. Now he's playing on a decent connection. Can he actually hit some shots is going to be the real question. Defensive already from Jambo, yeah. A little bit wary about his flag.
Yeah, also like what we saw there from Jambo actually getting the revenge there on Depleted, so comes right back and takes him down. As he heads out up to Pink 2, going to be engaging Rek across the map, decides that he has better things to do with his time, so instead going to swing around. Listening to those call-outs, you can tell, waiting for players to kind of just show a little bit on Pink side. Still waiting, but nothing is coming, so he might have to rotate shortly or make a play towards the base. Very likely a double team could be coming. He stays alive with shots from Sketch. He has a lot of help here top middle, though, so they're positioned well to get something going, but however, they need to get some kills on the board first. Once again, it's Depleted versus Jambo as they're back and forth trying to go after one another, but still maintaining control here is Radiant.
Yeah, I love this patience as well from Jambo. He popped out twice onto Pink, took the battle, but he backed off as soon as he was down. Unfortunately, he gets punished after 2 people pushing, but I think he'll be more than happy with the one-to-one trade. Very much seems like Jambo is prioritizing Pink and the rest of his team are moving elsewhere. If he can lock down P2, then his team should be good. You can see that flag is being run and Sketch needs to do something about it to try and get it back. I don't think running bottom middle is the best approach.
Especially sprinting bottom middle, where you of course will be on that motion tracker, but actually he's somehow staying alive. Might get the return, and Gaskin proves us wrong and makes a ballsy play across bottom middle and gets away with it.
I proved you wrong? No. Am I playing?
No. He proves us wrong.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Well, actually, he was just helped by Depleted going huge and getting a massive double. Yeah. So sometimes if you can trust your teammates and you say, hey, I can run bottom middle, then maybe, you never know, you can get returns as Curly hits some insane shots there onto Spenny.
Curly getting a reaction out of the room here as he's able to pick up this kill, get some help from Sketch as well. And like you said, so far with some great team shooting now from the SplyceyMemes side as they slowly continue to collapse. They need to start this run right now, but that plasma grenade that was left from Jambo made it very difficult. He's going to have no shields, but he's going to sprint all the way through and continue the run. Let's see. Both flags are out now, though, so we'll have a little bit of a standoff scenario.
Yeah, sometimes when you're running those flags, you've got to be well aware of where your teammates are. Unfortunately, he was just trying to push as best as he can. Maybe if he'd ran up to Pink 2, he might have had a little bit more cover, but now we see Radical throwing this one down bottom mid. He has Blazing as well to toss it up to, so now all they need to do is return. We've got a nice little standoff here, and this is where you'll look to your players with experience to try and get the return. The flag is returned. Can anyone put it in? Radical with big kills.
He might not be able to get to that flag touch. Spenny is the only player alive, and I don't think they're actually going to be able to do it. No, and actually going to be a return there from Curly as Rek is going to start that flag as well. He's going to try to stay alive if he can. Looks like we'll go ahead. Sketch is actually down, so we'll stay on board with him for now as both flags are going to be back at home, so my oh my. Still some fast-paced action here in our later matches on the main stage. Now over to Irek for the first time in this game. Once again, trying to lock down P2 for his squad.
And clearly some players, they're unhappy with their settings as well. Still tweaking the dead zones. That's never a good situation in the middle of a LAN environment. A lot of sporadic positioning at the moment from both teams. They all seem to be pushing individually onto top mid or to P2. I want to start seeing more coherence around on maybe the car side, get someone in that bubble, lock down spawns, and then start running a flag.
Right, both flags out now for both teams. So once again, a standoff scenario as we try to see which one's going to be able to advance it. As on your screen, Spenny is trying to make something happen. Finishes on Curly, which is huge. Don't know how he got away with that. Shouldn't have happened, but will that flag be going in? No, both flags still out. How does that happen? Spenny able to stay alive. Might even get a return here. No, gets shut down. He's tried to go for all three as we're going to, I think we're going to see a flag go in. Yes, indeed there, as we will see the other side go up. That's going to be SplyceyMemes going up 1-0.
Yeah, SplyceyMemes, as the analyst said, none of these players have played on LAN before, and they're going up against a team that has experience in the likes of Spenny, in the likes of Radical. now we need to be looking at those players to bring their team back into this game. But at the moment, SplyceyMemes are just completely outslaying their opposition, and they're being rewarded with flag pulls because of it.
And Jambo right there not going to make something happen, unfortunately, just as he was thinking about getting that pull, instead does get shot. So now we'll go ahead and switch over to our other side. As you see right here on main, we'll stay on board with Radical, who's now coming through. Over on a top car. Does find Rek, going to engage and land some fantastic shots. However, Rek does have the last word, but Blazin, his teammate, will go ahead and clean that up. Now over to Blazin Sunburst, who's going to drop down, thinks he's going to get an easy melee on Sketch. That's not the case. Instead, has to focus elsewhere. No problem, though, because teammates do finish that. Gets engaged, however, from several angles, but using a very nice angle on bottom middle to stay alive just as long as he could. Now we'll go back over to Irek, who's trying to finish, but Radical says no. Instead, we'll go back over to Radical on the Radiant side.
Irek does not wreck, he instead gets wrecked. Radiant have actually picked up more of the camouflages, but it's not actually showing in their kills. They're currently 12 kills down in this game, and you can clearly see by the dominance of SplyceyMemes. But now we see a flag actually being pulled, and this is good positioning from Radical as well. Anyone who jumps out into that bottom middle position, he's nicely poised just to finish them off, and unfortunately gets stuck in a 1 versus 2 situation.
Yeah, I was going to say, across the map, he did have Spenny bringing that flag in. Did want to see the resolution of that, as Spenny has a pretty easy time walking that flag back in. You see right now, he's just playing a cute little pink 2 angle, waiting for someone to show, and his teammates do help with the team shot as well. Look at, you got to love that discipline, right? Here's what we're finally seeing from Radiant. This is what the guys on the analyst desk were expecting as well, is plays like that, right? You could just sit pink 2, wait for someone to show, you get the shot advantage, you finish off with a grenade, and you push out. Pretty textbook play from them.
And thankfully for the motion sensor changing now as well, as long as you're not using a Spartan ability, of course, you can just sit there and you can punish those people that are just going to sprint out of that base and they have no idea that you're there. You get the jump on them just like this, and Spenny does just finish it off. The analyst desk were saying that Spenny likes to do his assassinations. Not seen any so far in this game, but his shots have looked relatively solid.
All right, tries to land the stick there, unable to do so, but not a problem though. We're still tied 1-1. 5.5 minutes left in the match. Now over with Curly Sniper on SplyceyMemes, going to help out with Jambo, and so far still some really great team shots from SplyceyMemes. We saw some great work from them. Tries to tee up the ground pound, but instead has to double back. Some amazing help, getting himself out of some very sticky situations, manages to stay alive and go front base. Now, Gaskin, I have to say, now that the motion tracker, like you said, is an ability tracker, he needs to pick up some ammo first before he does anything, gets the back whack. They're going to start this run, but it will, looks like, be cut short for just a second. Going to take a look to see if anyone is in position to possibly run that. And it looks like Radical and his teammate Spenny are going to have to make that decision together, but they need to get this stop first, but immediately triple team from the other side as Depleted continues the run.
Yeah, and someone needs to pick it up off of him, though, as he does go down. I've got to say that SplyceyMemes' general positioning and awareness has looked a lot better than Radiant's. Radiant's have been a little bit all over the place, not aware of when a flag's being pulled, not aware of when someone's behind them. Really use your headset. You've got to hear those footsteps. As a ground pound is teed up, and Spenny gets one right in the jawline. And now we will look for a double as well. Curly going absolutely massive for his team, hits the perfect, but unfortunately the flag was returned, so he's going to have to push up.
That's right. So like you said, great plays from him. You have to bet that was probably a conscious decision, right? Not to force that. It might have gotten away from him, but regardless, stays alive on pink 2, was just pink 3, and is able to control the game. One thing I was trying to say earlier, Gaskin, is now that we have the ability tracker, and you can finally see some fantastic flanks, right? You can see people actually spending time front base, which is huge. You used to see that in Halo 3 Onslaught, right? Halo 2 midship, Halo 3 Heretic, sitting front base. It's a valid escape route, because very rarely are people actually checking front base when they're pushing out on pink and car.
Camouflage coming up in less than 30 seconds, so expect to see teams now trying to control around P1. Of course, in a situation like this, when you have a standoff, when it's 1-1, picking up something like a camouflage can be so influential. It can allow you to get behind a team, make some big plays, get a double kill, pull a flag, toss it out, and hopefully go 2-1 up. Sounds simple and make it sound easy, Bravo, but it's definitely not as easy as it sounds.
Certainly not. A lot of these guys on this main stage, though, will make it look easy, and of course that's going to only increase through the weekend as we go to less and less teams. As the guys mentioned on the desk, the loser here will be going home. They'll be eliminated at top 24. They don't want to do that. They spent, like you heard, Jambo and crew spent a lot of time grinding, getting ready for this tournament. They do not want to go home, and they are right now fighting back, fighting for their life on the tournament stage in the loser's bracket.
I mean, they said it's 13th versus 15th seed. You wouldn't expect this, one of them being eliminated at top 24, as we can now see Camouflage has just come up, so I wonder if anyone's been able to pick that one up. It can be very important to get, of course, and Sketch doing extremely well to hold on to this car side. I love that he's pushing bubble, just needs to be patient and communicate with his teammates, because you're in a fantastic position here for spawners, but the rest of his teammates are now dead, so you hide, you wait, you don't make yourself known, you don't want to pull the this flag yet. Okay, well, okay, he's panicked. Going under the base is an interesting situation, but sometimes you can just put yourself in a place to stop the flag.
Right.
Luckily, because of the radar, it means you can get away with these kind of things, but now he's just stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he needs to make a big play.
Yeah, he's been spotted here. He does have plenty of grenades to stop whatever push he finds himself running into, but right now does well to force the front base, and not sure if he's going to turn a run here. Goes going ahead and pick up. Looks like he actually might start a run bottom middle. Immediately melted, though, so that will be shut down.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the flag maybe take it car originally rather than going bottom base. Luckily for him, Curly was hitting shots and was able to get a few kills so they could get this flag back to their base. But now we get back to just 1-1. 2 minutes left, Bravo, and it seems like teams are starting to get a little bit nervous with these flag runs, these flag pulls. No real control. We have a little bit more kills in favor of SplyceyMemes, but Radiant, they seem to turn up when they need to. Like, they get those important kills.
They do indeed. As now we'll go back over here to Sketch, who's trying to make something happen. Like you said, from both sides, we're seeing a little bit more panic gameplay, a lot more tosses out that maybe are not going to result in caps, and it's actually happening simultaneously, so you wind up in these very panicked flag standoffs with a lot of action happening very quickly where teams need to decide if they want to attack or defend.
Yeah, Spenny 25-17 now. He's starting to rack up those kills, and slowly but surely we're seeing Radiant get back into this game in terms of kills. Flag has been pulled, and that is a camouflage in favor of Jambo as well. I like the trigger patience ever so slightly there. Misses a few shots, but eventually finishes off Curly. Now he needs help from his teammates. You want to go for a touch here, I feel.
Yes, and he actually does. He's going to turn around. I'm surprised he doesn't decide to shoot a bit because he did have a little bit of help, but it's going to be Radical who's going to try to continue this run. Maybe getting in, does not hit the toss. I don't believe it's going to stay bottom base. Yes, flag stays bottom base. Who is there to touch? Spenny thinking about dropping down and is going to try to fly in, but there's other players flying in for the return as well. But it is Sunburst who's going to go up. Can he bring this in here with 47 seconds left? Does toss it up. Who's there? Radical for the grab. Can he bring it in? Yes, indeed. They go up 2-1 with 40 seconds left on the clock.
And that's all on Spenny as well. He was just sat bottom mid hitting shots left, right, and center. He was targeting well. You could tell he was listening to his teammates because as soon as he put someone down to no shield, he instantly turned, hit a couple of one-shots, and then he turned back and finished off his opponent. Spenny is playing out of his mind right now. It looks like he might get the win for his team.
Yes, indeed. You got to give a shout to Radical, right? He did get the touch, and he also was, I believe it was Sunburst who got the flag all the way across to that doorway. And once it was there, they had some perfect flag tosses to get that thing up. Radical closes it out. 10 seconds left. That should close it out. What a big cap from them. I don't think we're going to see a touch from the other side in just seconds. Radiant Esports should close this out. Some extra pressure coming from Pink, but it's not enough. Look at that melee to celebrate. Radiant Esports closes out that game 2-1. A very clutch finish. A series of coordinated efforts that gives them the win. Smiles there from Jambo and crew as they've got to be feeling good about closing out game one.
And let's talk about Spenny when that flag cap happened. It was actually an overkill he ended up hitting as that flag went in. So you could tell that he's going to be feeling good about himself. 30 kills for the man. That's certainly a way to start the series, and the rest of his team were putting up big numbers as well. Bear in mind, Bravo, they were behind for the entirety of the series, Slays, and they managed to pull it back. They ended up outslaying them 88-86, but they were like 20 Slays down at one point.
Yeah, so they absolutely rallied back, like you said. Spenny 30-20, Radical 25-23, Jambo 20-22, and taking up the rear, that's Blazin 13-21. However, 22 assists to his name. On the other side, Curly shooting well as well, 24, 22, 21, taking a look at those numbers. But in the end, it is that last-ditch effort from Radiant. And you have to give it to, I have to say, Radical's camo grab, very important, because not only was that a camo grab, but that was a camo grab that was timed off of Depleted's last camo grab at the 33 mark. So to have that time when you did not get the last camo, great work from team and coach to make sure that they had a time on that. You saw it, like you said, trigger discipline. He waited to select the first engagement, then gets the touch, and through an excellent series of coordinated efforts, they bring that flag in. It took about, I think, if I had to count them, something like 4 to 5 separate tosses to advance that, right? So well done. I believe it's a par 4 on Truth, so they pull that off just in time.
Yeah, nice par there. Well, not a birdie.
I think we could see even better stuff from them. But yeah, right on par for for Truth CTF.
It was a perfect. Okay, no, that's a lie. It wasn't a perfect performance. It was a decent performance, especially from the likes of Radical. Jambo had a good game as well, but I really just have to highlight Spenny. I mean, not just for that last play where he got an overkill, but his positioning in general seemed to be on top form. He was missing shots at the start of the game, and he was struggling a little bit, getting outshot by the opposition. Maybe morale was down slightly, and that's why SplyceyMemes were able to kind of take advantage of the early game. but you just saw the experience shine through from a couple of players of Radiant, which allowed them to claw their way back into that game.
And also, I think what we're seeing that's interesting is you called it perfectly. The desperate moments towards the end of the game. An earlier game that I casted today, right, with 21 flag grabs on a Fathom, which is crazy. So to see, I think when we have these players who are right around, they're up-and-coming players, right? They have not yet made a name for themselves in this region. So when the games get tough on the main stage, right, when they're playing here in front of a crowd, they start to get a little bit grabby with the flag. They just want to get desperate tosses out. You see Jambo just at the last second tries to go for a flag grab just as someone's coming in car side. So in the end, it is Jambo and crew who close it out due to a clutch flag. But you have to think, like you said, it's not perfect play. They need to really get their heads together and think about how they're going to play this game too, to be a little bit more coordinated and ideally less panicked.
Well, game 2 is going to be Coliseum Slayer then, and may play into the advantage of Radiant. They definitely look more comfortable. The analyst was saying how SplyceyMemes looked a little bit nervous. They're definitely swinging on their chairs ever so slightly, and that is one of the tells of being nervous, as well as kicking your feet, shaking your legs a little bit.
A little bit of body language expertise here from Dan Gaskin as we're kicking off Slayer on Coliseum game number 2, one of my favorite maps. Who else can we kick it off with but Spenny after such a dominant Slayer performance in game number 1? Going to be tossing some select plasma grenades, hoping to blast those rockets. Looks like no grenades from either side are going to get the combat evolved on the rockets, so they will simply stay put right up top, but excellent shots here from Spenny to open. Rockets are still going to be there. They're trying to close out on that kill bottom blue as well, but right now looks like Sniper Rifle not a threat yet. Actually, as I say that, Curly Sniper gets it on the other side, so we're going to keep an eye on that Sniper Rifle as well. A power weapon apiece for each team, as it's going to be 3-2 in favor of SplyceyMemes.
And that's such a frustrating situation for Spenny as well. He does his job, he kills the rocket guy, he wins the 1 versus 1, and then all 3 of his teammates fall. Luckily for him, he was able to pick up those rockets, drop to bottom mid, and now he can start making some plays. Spenny is the captain of this team. He calls most of the shots, so expect him to be the one leading the charge. Unfortunately, does miss a rocket there, but at least the rockets are out, so it's not going to be punished too much for this situation.
Yeah, SplyceyMemes does very well to just kind of sit back and turtle for a second, and I'm surprised that Spenny tried to make that bridge push, especially when there's a sniper rifle in the hands of SplyceyMemes, and you have to guess he didn't know where it was, but SplyceyMemes answers to that rocket push pretty easily, and a very nice headshot from Curly Sniper. He's going to do a bit of rotating to sniper side himself, taking a look at top bridge. Nothing there, going to have to continue on with his team to check out sniper side. It looks like there is indeed action on this side, so a 2-kill lead for him, but gotta love how interested he is. Head on a swivel, hits that headshot as well, not allowing many lanes to open up for his opponents.
I mean, that is one hell of a Curly Sniper, bending bullets Matrix style. I've got to say, Curly Sniper's a great game attack. I know Tashi was saying earlier that Europeans have terrible game attacks, but
I kind of like him.
I like Curly Sniper. I mean, if you can bend those bullets around walls, then do it. And what I like about it is he's staying alive at the moment as well. He's not being too aggressive with that sniper, more than happy to sit back in the base. Every time he takes a few shots, he rotates around, makes sure he's near one of his teammates.
That's right, indeed. You heard the rockets coming up, so they're going to be keeping an eye on that. They do have a player that's up there right now. Sniper rifle still in hand for Curly Memes. They just picked up 2 kills, so this rocket grab should not be too difficult for them.
Yeah, rockets, they can get them, and that'll be rockets and sniper rifle. That's when you can then decide you want to be aggressive. You can say to your sniper, hey, I want to get aggressive with you, as Curly Sniper does get stuck, but thankfully he's able to push in. Rockets go into the hands of Irek, and maybe he's going to go and switch out for the T2 combo if he can stay alive. Doesn't even get the trade. Blazin somehow blazes through and survives those rockets. I
have to say is now we'll go over to Blazin, like you said, picks up those rockets. So an interesting collapse there, push there from Radiant. Yeah, I really like what I saw from them. Might pick up 2. Yes, he does. No, excuse me. They haven't killed the player in the back corner yet, but he gets some help, so they clean up Curly. So now they're coming right back in this game. Doesn't turn with the rockets, and instead is disciplined to stay alive, but his teammates are falling all around the map. Finally picks that one up. So, I mean, this is still some very chaotic gameplay, Gaskin. If you're new to competitive Halo, you don't always see a Coliseum Slayer playing just this fast.
Yeah, I give a solid golf clap there. That was a really good play from Sunburst, being able to just decide that he didn't want to fire that rocket, instead pushing around, waiting for his time, and he was rewarded with 2 kills because of it. Actually gets a nade marker as well there, so if he knows someone is weak, he'll communicate that to Spenny, who's probably going to push in. And, well, this has switched back over to Radiant. They were a little bit behind, but now they have the power play. They've got the power weapons. Let's see what they can do with them.
I like this so far, indeed. He's laying down some great shots. You're seeing some great support play here from Blazin, who's kind of sitting back just a bit, laying down that DMR fire. Like you said, also getting the hit markers, which tells his teammates exactly where his opponents are. So they find another player here on back snipe. They're up 17-14. They close on that as well, 18-14, finally running away with a bit of a lead. And this all started, remember, when the rockets were coming up and they did not have have snipe control. So an excellent push on both weapons to neutralize their opponents has totally resulted in a switch of control.
Yeah, I like what Blazer's doing as well. He's just keeping an eye on all angles at the moment, but making sure he's holding the sniper side of the map as well. Such a power position on Coliseum, and you can see the rest of his team are there with them. They're saying, we've got a 4-kill lead. Why on earth do we need to start pushing them? If they're locked in red, they can stay in red. Eventually, they'll come out. If they don't, we can pick up the power weapons when they come up.
I'm going to go to Jambo now just to see he has an eye with a, I believe, sniper ammo left. He has an eye on not only bottom of this base, but also Rocket is going to hit that shot as well. You see that's going to be 3 down momentarily for the other side. Rockets are still on spawn, so now they're starting to pull away with this. What was just, I believe, about a 12-12 game is now 21-14. Radiant firing on all cylinders and not looking back.
Yeah, we're starting to see a pattern emerge here. SplyceyMemes are having a really good start. It seems like they've gone over their starting strategies, that's for sure. But Radiant really showing their experience as we move to the late to mid-game. Almost hit.
My gosh!
Incredible stuff there from Jambo. He said earlier he was a little bit nervous when I spoke to him. This is his first time on a stage, but he's proving himself wrong at this point. He doesn't even need to be nervous.
Jeez, he's not missing. Always hitting a body shot at the very least. Also hitting cross-map Hail Mary nades when the Rockets are up. Look at this, a killing spree from Jambo, folks. This is a gentleman you heard from before the game. He said he was ready to play. They had been putting in the time, and he is putting on a show here at HCS London.
Yeah, he definitely is. And again, positioning, fantastic. Always making sure he's near his teammates. These are some of the basics we weren't seeing from games earlier. Instead, we were seeing people with the sniper just pushing around willy-nilly and giving it away, and they were losing games because of it. There is discipline to this Radiant squad, and I've got to give that to their leader, Spenny. He's calling the shots, and he's making sure that everyone is on form.
Finally, we see a player there on the Radiant side fall, so we could see a lot of pressure coming Jambo's way in just a moment. He does have a lot of help there, though, from a teammate as he helps as well. We might see a rotate here as they did lose sniper control, but not before he lands one headshot there. Sniper's going to be in 20. I believe we're going to have Rockets coming up as well, if I'm not mistaken, but look at that. It's going to be 31-18 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Rockets up in 10 seconds, and Radical was still getting kills about 15 seconds ago with Rockets as well, so there may be 2 Rockets on the map if he didn't waste them. But Jambo forced his hand here. He has to go and push for these Rockets because no one else is on this side of the map. But I like what he's doing. He's not rushing and picking them up. Instead, he's scouting the map.
Where's the pressure? I mean,
this
is absurd, folks, to see a player sitting not only on Rockets and being able to look at all angles, but also with the sniper in hand. That indicates total control from Radiant Esports as he's swinging around here, keeping an eye once again on top bridge. Going to swing over to Sniper. Doesn't take too much damage, though, so may still be able to challenge. However, players coming in from the back of blue are going to make that very difficult, and he is a bit sandwiched, as you said earlier. Rockets still flying in and just does not even get pressured in the cave. They're up by 18.
Look at him. They don't care. They've got 18 kills. He's not even thinking, I need to drop these Rockets. He's saying, to hell with it. We've got an 18-kill lead. What's the point? But you're completely right. No contestation for those Rockets, and they have no excuse either. There is a big old number on your screen that says when rocket launch is going to come up. Send at least one man up there.
Yeah, and Radical does have a sniper rifle as well. So as not missing. So as Jambo is running out of sniper ammo, I also, like I said, do want to say that Radical has sniper ammo in hand, but Jambo, we've been on his POV, I'd say, for about 2 minutes, if not more at this point, and he has not been taken down, just controlling power weapons, and able to do so, though, because you got to give credit to so much of his team, right? They're laying down the foundation for him to just run around and do whatever he'd like with these power weapons.
Yeah, Jambo just 3 deaths in the game, the least of the game. Of course, only has about 7 kills to go alongside it. It's Spenny leading the charge once again with kills currently +8 at the moment, and the scoreline is showing that as well. Radiant, they've won this game already, but they want to get a steak dinner as they are trapping their opponent into red base, firing rockets here, there, and everywhere. They don't even care if they waste rockets at this point because they know they could just go and pick up the rockets uncontested.
Look at this, and they're going to push in, finds a player in the back as well. Can he finish on this? Yes, indeed. Gets a double kill that he should not have, is able to convert. Still, they cannot take down Jambo. This is painful. He's just been given the luxury to run around the map however he sees fit. We'll stay on board with him unless Radical starts heating up with that sniper rifle. He actually does have some angles, though, so we'll go on board with Radical, who does have 4 shots left. And once again, rockets are up.
They remembered.
And they have a sniper there. It looks like going to jump back out. Maybe finish this as well. Can't finish, but only 1 more kill to go. Who's it going to come from? Looks like back blue should be cleaned up any moment, but that kill doesn't come in. watching a rocket corner. That's going to be it now. Jambo does finish the game. You see on his face, he's hyped up. They got to be feeling good about that. That's a 50-22 performance. A steak dinner, of course, winning that game by a massive margin.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That was nice and comfortable for Radiant there. Momentum well and truly with them if it wasn't already from the previous win. And now it's going to be very, very difficult for SplyceyMemes to come back into this series. Have you got any SplyceyMemes?
SplyceyMemes myself, you know, I'd have to say, I think I'm saving them for Sunday. What I mean by that is I'm afraid off the top of my head, no, I don't have any Splycey.
I mean, boo-boo take my doo-boo, I guess, is a SplyceyMeme, right?
That's, yeah, no,
yeah?
That's a very applicable SplyceyMeme. Nice work. Let's see now, looking at the stats here from the game. Spenny, 18-11 with 7 assists. You got Radical, 14-4. You pointed out earlier, Jambo goes 11-4-3. You know, watching Jambo's POV, not only did he have power up and control, but we barely even saw opponents spawning, right? Because his teammates were doing so well, specifically Spenny, just racking up the kills throughout that game. Blazin, only 7 kills, however, 10 assists and 4 deaths. So across the board here, that's what you expect when a game ends 50-23.
I mean, confidence really shining through this Radiant squad now.
Yeah.
The fact that Jambo, when he had Sniper Rifle on Rocket's side, he saw Rockets come up and he was like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to push up to top Rockets.
Right.
He didn't pick them up straight away. Instead, he just scouted everything and was like, well, I can look around. Okay, now I'll pick them up because no one's challenged me yet.
I mean, that is not something, folks, that you normally see in a tournament scenario. No. Is a player who can, I mean, you even get to Rockets without being shot. But to be able to sit on Rockets with a sniper rifle and kind of do a nice slow pan of the map to look to see if anyone, I mean, you saw players that were coming off of Blue Bridge that weren't even looking at Rockets, right? Which indicates they're all just running away from other battles without even an eye for the power weapons. And whenever the power weapons were coming up on the other side, think about when Radical had that sniper rifle, right? There's at least 2 guns immediately looking at it. And the guys on SplyceyMemes can't even come away with a weapon grab.
I mean, you can only play what's against you, right? What's in front of you. And in, yes, as you said, a higher tournament situation, if I saw a player with sniper rifle run up to Rockets, I'd be like, what are you doing there?
Yeah.
But he took advantage. He said, right, I know that this team is not that great in comparison to us right now. We're on fire, and he's more than happy to push up. So I like the confidence.
Yeah, also, he knew that his team had his back, right? He had such suppressing fire around the map that he can actually make very risky plays like that, where he could have easily been double-teamed from a variety of angles around the map. But our next game is going to be Strongholds on Eden. You know, looking at the results so far, how the slaying has gone, the objective play, I think it's pretty clear which way this one will go.
Yeah, I think we know which way this one is going to go, especially with Stronghold Eden. It's a very fast game type, as we experienced in the Caster Show match that we played yesterday.
Yeah, I myself do not play Halo 5 anywhere near fast enough for, I would say, any Strongholds game type, but certainly not Stronghold Eden.
Yeah, you've definitely got to keep up the pace. You've got to rotate as a team, as a unit. From what I've seen of SplyceyMemes, they are running around individually, not sticking together enough, and that may punish them here in this Stronghold Eden.
That's what it's been like. I mean, unless they can really put something together with some solid pushes, they might be able to put something on the board. But what we're seeing from Radiant, right, is not only are they pushing together as a team, they're cycling, but also their individual skill. I mean, look at Jambo. I think he hit either a headshot or a body shot on what felt like almost that entire sniper rifle rotation. So even when he's under pressure, hitting the cross map, Hail Mary, no scope to finish the kill. I mean, it takes real talent to line up all those plays. That's exactly what they're doing. I
mean, I've been a little bit harsh to SplyceyMemes. This is the first time they've ever played at LAN, right? And they're playing against some players that have competed time and time again at LAN. I mean, right. Radical is a veteran in the South African community, one of the best players in South Africa. So the fact in early game they're going toe-to-toe with them, then I commend them for that.
Right.
It's just what they need to work on. If they do get eliminated from this tournament and they want to stick together, which they should, I always advise the team should stick together. You look back at these games and you say, where are we losing this in the middle game? And of course, power weapon control seems to be a big thing.
Yeah.
And it may be apparent in Eden Strongholds too.
Yeah, I think we saw right there when it was 7 power weapon kills to only 2 on the other side. And not only that power weapon kill stat doesn't really tell the whole story because you had Jambo hitting so many body shots as well. So you can probably guess it's more like somewhere in the numbers of 13, 14 kills where power weapons were used to finish them. But our next game is going to be Strongholds on Eden. Of course, 100 points to win. A game type that will play very, very fast, without a doubt. Let's go ahead and start things off with Radical himself in this game as they will go ahead and fly straight up catwalk up here to try to get the first control. Camo's going to go in, but looks like tried to get a burn was Sketch, but unable to do it. So the first 2 kills going in the way of Radiant. Looks like they might have some early control as well.
Sketch. You pressed your thrust too early. I hate it when I thrust too early. You always got to make sure you time that correctly.
Yes, indeed.
As now we see the advantage start to lean towards Radiant already. They've got a little bit of control. Shots, decent shots actually from Radical. Needs to be careful about players from Turbine though, but he does finish off that depleted kill.
And this does not look good. Jambo actually has the camo in hand in the nest. You got Blaze in here with the rockets. So once again, a very dangerous setup. Jambo does get the nest. You just heard it there. It's going to be some early control here from Radiant. I like how they played that a little bit tactical, right? They're not overconfident. They don't fly in and just risk their chances. They're actually still, with their confidence, they're also making very wise plays here, as we do see Blazin still with the rockets in hand.
And all 4 players from SplyceyMemes eliminated there, and now Blue Ben is going to go into the hands of Radiant. I love what I just saw. They had Catwalk, and then they just decided, actually, we want to go for total control.
Yeah.
We want to finish this off nice and quickly. We don't want to just play the slow, boring game. Instead, they rotated as a unit. Catwalk goes to SplyceyMemes, but now they can just rotate once again back up to Catwalk.
That's exactly what they want to do. Blazing Sunburst now still with those rockets. He's got 1 left, and so far used them quite wisely. His first one at Catwalk did not connect, but his second allowed them to eliminate that player almost immediately. Switches to the pistol to clean up here on Rek. Should be able to do so, but some great challenging from Rek actually denies that kill.
Great challenge and denied the kill, or did whipping shots deny that kill? That's the real question I'm going to ask you, Bravo, but you don't have to answer it because I can see the answer in your eyes, really. Good grenades, though. Blazin does run out of rockets. Is be careful about the ground pound, but it does mean that Rek isn't capturing that point there.
That's right there. So Rek does come back around and gets his revenge, but he will immediately fall on the SplyceyMemes side. So now we'll go back over to Spenny, a player that we saw have such a great performance and somehow gets a stick there and stays alive, lives to tell the tale over at Red Nest. So right now leading with a score of 34-0. No signs of them stopping. Once again playing just at 1 step ahead of their opponents.
Dare I say it, will we see our second 100-0 of the tournament? SplyceyMemes in a very sticky situation. You could see they were rushing just to reset Catwalk to make sure that they didn't allow total control to go in the hands of Radiant. Radiant in such a power play position. Realistically, for SplyceyMemes, they shouldn't be trying to do that. They shouldn't be just trying to reset the 1 point that they have. They should try and group up, push something like Blue Ben, and then rotate around the map together.
I do wonder exactly where we're going to see that camo. I think it might have been burned, but we'll have to get a look on that, as we're now going to go over to Radical, who I believe has a few different weapons to his name. A light rifle and rocket combo, as well as the overshield. They're up 50-0, and you should not have any trouble pushing right in here and cleaning up Catwalk. Right now, no pressure, but looks all the way over to Blue Ben and still has enough overshield to be able to really do some damage here. Even if someone does engage him first, he's going to be able to turn on them with either the rockets or that light rifle, just like that. Finishing up kills so well. Looks like on the other side, we will see some points on the board from SplyceyMemes momentarily, as they had control just about 15 seconds ago, but now 56-2.
And look at this from Radiant and Radical as well. They know that Blue Ben is in control of their opposition, but they're more than happy for them to have it at the moment.
Right.
They're putting points on the board. They know that only 3 of their team are alive, so they're not getting too aggressive. They'll wait until they spawn, they'll wait until they have the man advantage, and then that's when they'll look to get total control. As you can see, Blue Ben is now being taken. Total control is there. There is someone taking Red Nest, but you've got to be scared when you're getting hammered by rockets. You're getting hammered by grenades. Everything is flying left, right, and center at the moment.
Yeah, I have to say, this is what I expected actually to see from Radiant. If they did to start to lose a little bit of control, I like the discipline that we're seeing from them. Instead of panicking and like worrying about getting a triple cap and maintaining that 100-0, instead they're playing a little bit slower and methodical, which is what they'll need to do against top teams, right? You can't try to force that trip cap every time.
Yeah, and as much as I said last game that you've got to play what's in front of you, you also use it as a practice situation. You say, what would we be doing if we were playing against the top tier team right now? You want to rehearse it. You want to be well dressed for that kind of situation. And SplyceyMemes, okay, they're starting to put points on the board now. The real question is, how do they get back into this game? They can't slow it down. They need to keep up with the pace. But realistically, they just need to match Radiant's slaying ability, and they can't seem to do that at the moment. Okay, they've got rockets, so this is a good chance to do so, but they need to make sure they get every single rocket for the rest of the game.
Yeah, they would need to have absolute control here. You see, just as soon as we say that, it's all shut down. 2 rockets that are not going to hit, so not a fantastic use of rockets there from Rek. But now as we go back over to Depleted, he's going to fall to what I believe was an overshield, but I'm going to actually go to Blazing Sunburst, who does have the camo. Look at this, being nice and Sneaky actually chose for the stick, but Sketch somehow knew that the third base tag was coming, so instead he stays alive. But he's going to just hold down the bend here. No need to push out. Triple cap. Total control, 92-9. This should be over any moment.
Yeah, this should be game, set, and match. And Radical has only 3 deaths in this game, which is absolutely insane when you think of the speed of Eden's strongholds. Rec, unfortunately, gets wrecked. 98-9. That will be game. And Radiant deserve their position in the next round. That will be losers bracket 3 for them. Unfortunately for the side of SplyceyMemes, that is the end of their tournament, finishing at top 24. But for their first ever LAN, I think they will be happy with how they performed at even getting to top 24, because that does mean they still were able to take the game.
Yes, indeed. That series will come to a close, folks. 3-0 with a score of 100-9 in our game 3. As you said, a convincing victory. Jambo and crew have got to be feeling good. Once again, Radical, Jambo, Blazin, and Spenny will be advancing. Their opponents will be headed home. But Radical 14-3, Jambo 12-10-5, Blazin 10-3, and Spenny going 11-10. Looking at the stats, my gosh, they made it look far too easy as they put on a clinic, especially in that game number 3, a solid performance from them. And, you know, it came down to a lot of communication in the end. SplyceyMemes not finishing kills, getting back-whacked on players who should have already been called out. You know what? Radiant took advantage of that.
It came down to just power-ups, to be honest. I mean, we didn't see any power-ups for SplyceyMemes in that game. Everything was going towards Radiant. Their timings were on point. They were always in the right position. They knew they were the dominant side, but it was a solid performance. Unfortunately for Sketch, with the breadstick there, 1-14. That's not your proudest LAN moment in the world, but when you're going up against a team that does have the veterans, the likes of Radical, and I don't want to call Spenny a veteran, but he's definitely been here before on this stage.
And at this moment, you could just be thankful it's not a goose, because it's a very different story.
Oh, yeah.
One kill is a very different story from a goose. But in the end, you mentioned power-up pickups. We actually had, for the guys on Radiant, 6 total. As you said, grabbing everything and nothing for SplyceyMemes. That was really the story of that game. Not only that game, but the series. Radiant showing up very well. Excellent to see Jambo and crew. You saw you heard his confidence before that series. And it looks like so far for them, the practice has paid off.
Some positives for SplyceyMemes, though. I mean, they've been teaming together, or at least 3 of them have, for around 9 months, I believe. So I'd like to think moving forward they will stay together. And I think they showed promise. Their early game was definitely good. Their starting strategies were solid. It's just that mid to late game that they struggled in.
Right, I think it's going to be a lot of just learning to rotate with one another, right? It seemed like a lot of great individual plays. Had they been timed a little bit differently, we could have seen a different result from them. But, folks, that series is going to end 3-0 in favor of Radiant. They will move on for the rest of the weekend. You can be sure we'll see them tomorrow as well. We'll be tracking their story. That's going to do it for this series, though. So, Brycey, back over to you on the desk.
All right, thank you very much there, Brav. Now, it was a 3-0, and we kind of thought it may end up going that way. They continue on. SplyceyMemes, unfortunately, going out of this tournament at this point on day 1, right at the end of the day. That's not what you want to see, is it?
No, it's a shame. It's such a belting team name as well.
Yeah, it was. That was the best bit about it, to be fair.
I mean, top 24 ain't bad. Gaskin has handed me a top 24L in the past, and it's not all that bad, to be honest. So, you know, he's waving away in his shirt for little self.
It's weird that you brought that one up.
I don't mind it. It's a meme. You know, I quit playing and got a full-time job, so it wasn't all too bad. You know, I kind of look back at it as a bit of an achievement, but...
Should have quit a lot earlier, shouldn't you, really?
I should have quit a lot earlier, although I would have continued fixing printers for the rest of my days. But, you know, that's another story.
It is another story. All right, let's move into this game and talk a little bit about how this one ended up going down. Let's start at the beginning. It's always a great place to start. Map number 1. Lethal, what did you see? What did you think?
What I thought about SplyceyMemes was the fact that they came in really hot at the start. I think they did get the first cap, even though it was a little bit messy. But I was surprised. I was shocked. I thought to myself, OK, maybe my prediction could be incorrect. It could be a reverse, not sweep, but just reverse score in general. But it seemed like after a while, you know, Jambo and crew literally managed to just solidify things a little bit, keep things more consistent. Because I know the first game of any match, normally it's more momentum-based, especially at a tier this level as well. But it seemed like they kind of, you know, even things out a bit, kind of realised what was going on. And I'm not sure it was Shannon screaming quite a lot, but I think it was the guys anyway. But the great thing was the fact that when they actually did get map control and realised what mistakes they were making at the start, it did take a few minutes, but in the end, they showed that why we thought they were going to get a 3-1.
Which is the whole point of truth, right? It can be a little bit scrappy. If you're not working as a team and you're not used to these setups, make sure you watch, you know, someone's watching P side, make sure someone's watching car when you're running it. If you're running these flags just willy-nilly and hoping to get one with a couple of kills. Yeah, now and again you'll get a scrappy flag, and that's fair play. Who doesn't in this? It's a good old game of matchmaking. But when you're actually playing at a team and you're trying to run these, if you're running P and you're going through P, make sure someone's inside the base. Make sure someone's there to give you defense, and if you go down, can pick it back up, scoop it, put it in the back of the net, job done. And yeah, a bit of a scrappy game. That's why it wasn't a nice clean 3-0 or 3-1 to end it out. But still, hey, a win's a win at the end of the day, no matter which way you get it.
Yeah, it's also very easy on that map as well. Just take a flag if they've got yours. Very easy to kind of rotate around and cause all kinds of problems when a flag is, or even you get a little bit of control. So, you know, it was always going to be a bit of a scrappy map, I thought. But let's move on then to map number 2 and talk about that one here. SplyceyMemes, what did you think of on this one?
Now, with SplyceyMemes at the start, I think it was like 7-5 or 7-6. They had snipe set up on blue side, and it seemed like the reason why I thought there was going to be a coin toss, because I had a feeling that this is going to be a kind of situation where it'll be a stalemate and then it's going to play for kills one by one.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where Radiant kind of realised this and knew this wasn't their kind of style, became super aggressive and just managed to take over pretty much their day job. So to go from like 7-5, 7-6 to 50-22, that's a statement. And for them as well, like I was thinking that they would take this game, but not by such a huge margin. So it was impressive by them.
Do you think that maybe played into the fact that, especially at that point, right, you're doing very, very close, you're doing okay, you've lost first map as well. You're like, okay, we can at least go toe-to-toe with them, and then you just get blown out for the rest of the game.
I think it comes down to, as Lethal kind of touched on, when you read the opponent's game and say, okay, I understand what they're doing now. They've got a couple of power weapons, they've got this side of the map, they've got that side of the map, you know, just talk through your team. All right, we'll take the rockets back. All right, we'll take the sniper back. We're just going to push you into this corner and play the game that we know, which is kill you until we